Yo, driven to chunk. And I know it's been a little bit since we did a Welcome to Project Diablo 2 series, but this is going to be episode 8, I believe, of the series for new players and maybe even just returning veteran players who maybe took a few seasons off. This episode is going to be focused around unique items. This will be kind of a one of two series because I don't want this video to be too long, but this one's probably going to be very, very long. And if you hear any little messages popping up, it's just because it's a work group I have to keep in touch with, and I've kind of been neglecting work a little bit. One, I've been playing the season, and then I've been making these videos, and it's fine. You guys know how it is, but I love this mod. I wanted to keep going with the series, and this is definitely one that I wanted to do, going over unique items. We're going to be doing non-weapons today for this one. So, but we're going to go through helms, chests, shields, gloves, boots, belt, amulets, rings, and charms. And this is going to be all this one. And then the next one, we'll do all weapons. You know, over here, that'll be the next one. I'm going to record the weapons one today as well. So I'm going to try to get them released pretty quick. And again, there's going to be timestamps for everything if you want to check things out. We're going to go over the changes from vanilla items, as well as we're going to go over the new ones that they had, because there's actually new items in here with new artwork. Like the Heirlooms is their Project Diablo 2's artist for a lot of their stuff, and they do a great job. And so anyway, appreciate all the support for the last videos. We're really close to getting 500 subscribers, and appreciate it. And I'm going to keep doing these videos. So anyway, let's jump into some of these uniques. Okay, starting off, just want to say again, timestamps will be in the description below if there's a specific item type, boots, helms, chests that you want to look for and things like that. But we're just going to go through them all. I'm not going to really speak too much on the item, maybe briefly, but there's a lot to get through. So starting off with normal helms, we got Biggin's Bonnet. In Pt.2, they increased the enhanced damage to now it can roll 30 to 50%, as well as the attack rating can do 30 to 50%, and no other changes other than that. On to Tarn Helm, very popular one. You're always happy to find this on early ladder. They just added 2 to 3 mana after each kill on it, so everything else stays the same. Same thing with that MF, stays the same with 25 to 50% chance. On to Cough of Glory, I think that's what it is. They just added 2 to 3 life after each kill, and then attacker takes damage of 17 instead of 7. Still has the hits blind target. Dusk Keep. They increased the max damage. It's now 10 to 15 max damage. All other things and attributes stay the same. The Face of Horror. The only thing they added was they increased the all resistances that it could roll. It can now roll 15 to 20 instead of just a flat 10. Worm Skull. They added, on top of the +1 necro skills that it comes with, they added +1 to bone skills, and then they actually changed the 80 poison damage over 8 seconds. They actually changed it to 60 poison damage over 2 seconds, which that is a buff. Hollow Tusk. They added 10% chance to cast level 5 Howl on striking, as well as adding 20 increased attack speed, which is really nice. And then instead of attacker takes damage of 3, it's attacker takes damage of 30. They removed the knockback because no one likes knockback really, other than Boazons. And then they got rid of hit causes monsters to flee, which made it kind of annoying. Undead Crown. They did increase or they lowered the defense of it a little bit. Again, any changes are going to be in blue. The old ones are in gray, just like everything else. They reworked some of the skeleton mastery stuff. Now it is 2 to 3 skeleton mastery can roll, and then instead of the 30 to 60 enhanced defense, they added 2 to 3 raised skeleton warrior on it. Everything else is the same though on Undead Crown. Peasant Crown, which is also a very popular common one. The only thing they changed was they increased the 15% faster run walk to 20%. So again, that's a very popular one to find, and that's actually going to be the first one of our exceptional helms. We are now into that. I didn't catch that. One of my favorite helms here, I'm sure a lot of yours, is Rockstopper, and they changed absolutely nothing by it because Rockstopper is good enough. This is what I had on my Jabazon last season to do declone and everything, just having that PDR and a bunch of resistances. It's a good helm. Just pop 2 sockets in that thing and threw some Vexes in there, and we're ready to rock. Another good helm that I like to find early game, mid game is Steel Skull. They just pretty much buffed the faster hit recovery and increased attack speed. Instead of 10%, it's now 20% increased attack speed and 20% faster hit recovery. And then for the mana and lifesteal, they just made it roll from 3 to 5 for both of them. So a little bit variability in that. Moving on to Dark Sight, they increased the base defense on it. And then they changed some things around. Instead of 6% chance to cast dim vision when struck, it's now 16% chance. They also added hit blinds target, which is actually a really cool stat. I love it. It's actually good for mercs. You know, blinding targets is kind of really underrated, or gloom, as well as the necro curse. They changed the defense per level, just +3 on it. And then they actually added +1 to Cloak of Shadows in general instead of charges. You'll see that's kind of a common thing with a lot of things. They get rid of charges and just add the flat ability. Blackhorn's Face, great early game Uber Tristram item for dealing with Mephisto. This is what they changed with it. They kept the original stuff, the first couple stats the same, but then they added +5% maximum lightning res, as well as increasing the overall just basic lightning res you get. And then instead of the 20 lightning absorb, you do have to roll, it's 10 to 20 now. And then they added a bunch of attacker takes lightning damage on it. So instead of just 25, it's now 225 to 325, which is actually a lot. Moving on to a very popular one as well is Vamp Gaze. They added 30 to 60 cold damage. It can now roll 6 to 10% mana stolen and lifesteal per hit, either one. And then they increased the rolls for the PDR percentage to 15 to 25%. And then the magic ranges are still the same other than that. Valkyrie Wing. This one, I think this is updated too. I want to say this got reworked a little bit this season. But yeah, 1 to 2 Amazon skills. But now it's +2 to Valkyrie, Amazon only. And then they increased the FHR and faster run walk to 30 instead of 20. They added 40 to 60% enhanced damage. And then they also increased the mana after each kill to 3 to 6. Moving on to Crown of Thieves. They lowered the lifesteal per hit to 5 to 10% instead of 9 to 12. They removed the +35 to mana, since this is kind of a Merc Helm anyway. And then they actually added 40 to 65% to MF on it. Harlequin, moving on to Elite Helms now. Harlequin crest is Shaco, I should say. Everyone just calls it Shaco. They just kind of nerfed a little bit of the values. Instead of the 1.5 per character level, it's now just 1 for mana and life. Instead of the PDR percentage being 10, it now rolls 4 to 6. And then for the magic find, it now, instead of just a flat 50%, is 25 to 50%. And the reason they did this is just to add some, in my opinion, to just make the market, make a good rolled one, have a little more value in the market. So the trade site's just not full of perfect Shakos, and adds a little more character to it. So definitely, we slammed it Cannot Be Frozen on one of these with kind of lame MF rolls, but it had 5 PDR percent, and we sold it for I think 1.75 or something. You know, I had it listed higher, but somebody made a good point. It's like, well, it's not boxed, so that would add a little bit more to it. So yeah, getting a good slam on one of these, you can still really sell it for a lot of high runes. Steel Shade, another good one. They did a lot of changes to Steel Shade. This is actually one of the better helms in the game now as well. So they gave it +2 to all skills, 20% faster block rate, 20% chance increased blocking. The mana steal is the same. The enhanced defense is the same. They really increased the replenished life, which is 30 to 48 now. And then they did lower the fire absorb to 4 to 6 instead of 5 to 11. And then they added just 60 to 80% extra gold from monsters. Excuse me one sec. And Dariel's Visage, another popular one. They changed the poison over when struck from a level 15 to a level 30. Still got the +2 skills. They increased the attack speed to +30% increased attack speed instead of 20%. They did lower the maximum poison resist to 8% maximum poison res. They did lower the -30% fire resist to -20. And other than that, it's all the same. But yeah, just a little kind of workaround on that one. Giant Skull, they changed some stuff around on this one too, big time. Giant Skull now has 25 to 35% chance to pierce, 60 to 80% enhanced damage, and now it has, instead of 10%, it has 25% crushing blow. Still has the knockback. Does not come with sockets though now, so got to slam it for those sockets. But now you can slam it and possibly get 3 sockets on it, or a brick if you let me slam it. Veil of Steel, very, very cool. I'm pretty sure they brought this one. The inventory graphic uses art from the original Diablo game rather than the generic art of the Spired Helm, as it says down there at the bottom. So they give it a +1 to all skills, 60 to 100% enhanced damage. They increase the enhanced defense to 160 to 220. And then the all res, instead of being a flat 50, it now rules with a variable 30 to 40. They removed -4 to light radius and +20 durability, still all the same, as well as the attributes. But yeah, this is definitely a very, very popular helm, and the artwork is amazing. Nightwing's Veil. They did some workarounds with this one. Nightwing's Veil now has minus enemy cold resistance, 5 to 10%. The cold skill damage has been nerfed. Instead of 8 to 15%, it is now 5 to 10%. And everything is still the same. It still has the cold absorb. It gives half freeze duration, which this is actually a buff in Project Diablo 2, because all you need is 2 sources of half freeze duration, and that equals cannot be frozen, which a lot of people forget. Crown of Ages, another very popular helm. They got rid of the +1 all skill, but they added 50% reduced curse duration, which is a very, very important thing, especially if you're doing a Rathma fight. Very, very good. Instead of the 1 to 2 sockets, and now it can do 2 to 3. Other than that, it's all the same. 10 to 15% physical damage taken reduced. Same thing with the all res and stuff like that. And now we are on to people like, what is this item? This is one of the rare declone items that you can only have a chance to drop if you do a T1 or T2 declone. This is Overlord's Helm. Since it's a new item, I'll go ahead and read through it. Defense can go from 570 to 834. Strength requirement is 142. Required level 85. The stats are -15% enemy physical resistance, 5 to 8 lifesteal per hit, 460 to 680 plus defense, 20 to 30 strength, 15 dexterity, 15 vitality, curse resistance, -20% though. As it says, this item exclusively drops from declone, but it has to be tier 1 or tier 2. Unique circlets. Kira's Guardian. They added a bunch here. Kira's Guardian now comes with enemy cold, lightning, and fire resistance, and they can roll from 10 to 15% each. And then they just nerfed the all resistances a little bit. Now, instead of 50 to 70, it is now 25 to 40. Griffin's Eye. No changes, because it's already a really good item, so no changes at all for Griffin's Eye. New item for PD2 here, Cyclopean Roar. Barbarian Helms are sometimes referred to as Primal Helms. I've never heard that, actually. Interesting. So anyway, since it's a new item, I'll go through the stats. Defenses, 131 to 169. Required strength 58. Required level 28. Blah, blah, blah. So what it has a chance to roll either 8% chance to cast level 6 battle cry on striking, or it has a chance to cast on casting. So it can work for barbs, or it can work for, shout barbs, singer barbs, or it can war cry barbs, or it can work for, whatever, frenzy barb, or whatever the hell you want. So it's also a good merc helm. You can put it on your Act 5 barb, and even though the Act 5 mercenaries already call in battle cry, you can add this to it and cast on striking one, so they're just casting it all the time, even more. That's what I like to do. So moving on, it gives you 2 to 3 war cries, 20 faster run walk, 20% to leap and leap attack movement speed, 90 to 145 enhanced defense, and then also gives you 20% crushing blow. Here's the new barb helm wind speaker. Let's see if we can open this. Shows a picture of it. Nope, can't see it. So wind speaker is the new lion helm that came this season. People who saw the patch notes obviously saw it. It's kind of for Warcry barbs, but I'll just go through the skills real quick. Is Item level required 44. Required strength 73. Defense is 197 to 258. It can roll 1 to 2 barb skills, 20% faster cast rate, 2 to 3 Grim Ward. Grim Ward got a big rework that in this mod. It's really good. 2 to 3 shout, 160 to 240 defense, 10 to 20 vitality, increase maximum mana by 25%, regenerate mana by 33%, and then plus 50% fire res. So very, very good. Ariat's Face. What they changed is instead of flat 2 to combat skills, it's now 1 to 2 combat skills. The only thing else they changed is the strength and dexterity can now be 10 to 20, so a little variability on that. And then all res is now, instead of 30, it's now 20. Moving on to Wolf Howl. They got rid of lycanthropy. They now, instead of 3 to 6 feral rage and werewolf, is now 4 to 6. The enhanced defense is the same. The attributes, strength, dexterity, vitality, instead of 8 to 15, it's now 10 to 15. And they actually removed the vitality completely. And again, like I was saying, instead of just having charges of dire wolf, it just gives you 12 to 15 summon dire wolf. It says, note, war cries now work while in shape-shifted in werewolf form or werebear form. So that's nice. So you can battle cry while in werewolf form or werebear form. Demon's Horn Edge. They changed this one around definitely a little bit. So they got rid of the war cries, they got rid of the masteries, and instead they just added 2 to 3 barb skills in general, which is better in my opinion. Instead of the attack speed, they gave it a 20% chance to open wounds. Instead of the life steal, they gave it plus 350 open wounds damage per second. The enhanced defense is the same. Attacker takes damage is now, instead of 55 to 77, it is now 900 to 1050. So yeah, that's a lot of attacker takes damage. And attacker takes damage in this mod is good, actually. It doesn't actually have to hit you. So like, anytime a thing makes an attempt to attack you, this works for ranged things too, like archers and stuff. It will proc attacker takes damage. So very nice. They also added physical damage taken reduced by 18 to 24. That's flat. That's not percentage. And then I guess they actually did bring the increased attack speed. They just put it down at the bottom here. Instead of 10%, it's now 20% increased attack speed. So pretty good. Halberd's Reign. They changed the masteries to 2 to 3 masteries. Still has a barb skill. Still has the faster hit recovery. They did add attack rating per character level is +3. They increased the battle orders and battle command to, instead of 1 to 2, it's now 2 to 3 battle orders and battle cry. Yeah, okay, so no more battle command, it's battle cry now, but 2 to 3 battle orders, 2 to 3 battle cry. And then they actually gave flat or a percent physical damage taken reduced by 10 to 15%. So that is nice. Halberd Reign will now display as black on the character model. Very cool. Here is a new item for PD2. It is Raycor's Virtue. I'll go through the stats. Required strength 196. Defense is 405 to 473. Required level 78. You may apply an additional curse with this helm. So what that means is if you have Weaken from Doombringer on your weapon, and then you also have a source of amp like Atmoscarab, you get to apply both of them to the guy. It's pretty badass. So +2 to barb skills, 40 to 60 enhanced damage, 5 to 8 mana stolen per hit. They did 2 to 3 double throw. They did 2 to 3 double swing. 140 to 180 enhanced defense, 20 to 30 dexterity, curse resistance plus 25%. On to Druid Helms. Druid Helms are sometimes referred to as pelts. Here's a new item for this mod, Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl is a required level 29, and it has the defense of 24 to 28, required strength 20. It can roll 1 to 2 druid skills. Gust's cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds. Gust is now the movement ability for druids. 10% faster cast rate, 50 to 80% enhanced defense. Cold res can roll 10 to 25%, and then it gives you 2 to 4 life after each kill. Does not reduce Gust cooldown below 0.5 seconds. So half a second is as low as you can get Gust, just FYI. Here's a new helm from this season, Fenris. It is an alpha helm. It can do 212 to 282 defense, required strength 44, required level 40. Fenris has 5 to 10 minus 5 to 10% enemy physical resistance. You may summon 2 additional spirit wolves, plus 1 to 2 druid skills, minus 25% target defense, plus 2 to Heart of the Wolverine, plus 2 to summon spirit wolf, plus 160 to 220 defense, plus 20 to 30 dexterity. Onto Jalal's. So instead of a flat 2 to shapeshifting skills, it's now 1 to 2. Everything else is the same up until the attributes, which instead of a flat 20 to strength and to energy, it's now 15 to 20 to strength and energy. And then instead of a flat 30 all res, it's now just 25. So not really that big of changes other than the skills. Cerebus's Bite. They changed it from 2 to 4 to shapeshifting skills to 3 to 4. Instead of 60 to 120% bonus to attack rating, it's now 80 to 120. So they brought the floor up a little bit on that one. Instead of lifesteal on this thing, you now get 33% deadly strike. You still get the 33% chance of open wounds, but now they also gave the flat 360 open wounds damage per second. Feral Rage 1 to 2 is still the same, but they also added 1 to 2 to hunger as well. And then the enhanced defense is the same. Moving on, Den Mother. Look at that artwork. You know, shout out to Erlen for that. The artwork is so sick. This is Den Mother. I think this came out last season. It is 220 to 333 defense, required strength 95, required level 58. Plus 2 to druid skill levels. You may now summon 2 additional grizzlies, but you may no longer summon wolves, any of the wolves. 20% faster cast rate, 2 to 3 summon grizzly, 2 to 3 maul, 125% enhanced defense, replenish life can roll 25 to 35, 50 to 80% extra gold, and it can roll 2 to 3 sockets. Raven lore. No changes at all in Raven lore that I see, so Raven lore is exactly the same. Spirit Keeper, couple changes. Instead of the 1 to 2 druid skills, it's now just a flat druid skills. See, they're not all mean. They don't make everything roll now. Then it used to be flat. So now, instead of 1 to 2 druid skills, it's just a flat 2 to druid skills. Sorry, my camera's getting a little dark. The sun's moving, or there's some clouds or something. So there, that's a little bit better. So it also gives a plus 2 to random druid skill, apparently. So it can just be a random one. So there's a variability in that. You may now summon 1 additional spirit, which is nice. Instead of just a flat 10% to maximum poison res, it now rolls 5 to 8%. Instead of 30 to 40% fire res, you now have 20 to 30%. And then instead of 9 to 14 light absorb, you now have 4 to 6. And then instead of 15 to 25% cold absorb, that's crazy. You just now have 4 to 5%, which is still really good. Excludes druid skills with new IDs. Gust, I guess. So this thing cannot run, or you cannot get a plus 2 to Gust or something. I don't know. Another new item, Ursa's Nightmare. 368 to 416 defense on Ursa's Nightmare. Required strength 118. Required level 66. You cannot lifesteal above 75% or 75% maximum life. But the reason for that is plus increased splash radius based on missing life with the capping of 40%. So you get if you are below 75%, it used to be 60%, so now it's just 75, you can have up to 40% increased splash radius. And then plus 3 to shape-shifting skills, plus 40% faster hit recovery, prevent monster heal, 130 to 160% enhanced defense, 30 to 35% increased max life, which is huge, but there is a drain life minus 30. But, you know, if you get something that has replenished life up to 30, you know, you negate that. Note, it says 0 to 40% increased splash radius scales based on missing life at the rate of plus 2% splash radius per 1% missing life, 40% reached at at 80% maximum life. Something like that. We're gonna do sets another day. Sets are gonna be their own thingy, and we already did Rune Word Helm, so I'm gonna do sets on another day. Sorry if people were waiting for that. Sets are gonna be their own video. So that is all the Helms for now. Give me 1 second to respond to work messages so I don't lose my jobs, and I will continue on. Okay, moving on to unique chest. Starting with normal chest, we got gray form. The only thing that changed really was they just upped the defense a little bit. And that's it. Everything else is still the same. Still got life steal. Still got a little bit of res. Moving on to blink bats form. Blink bat got a little buff to the base defense as well. It's 10% faster run walk is now 20% faster run walk, and 3 to 6 fire damage is just 10 to 15. The Centurion base defense got buffed a little bit, and then actually added a 20% chance of increased blocking and 30% enhanced damage, as well as buffed the replenished life from, instead of just 5, it can now be 5 to 15. They did remove the plus 15 to stamina, and they removed the 25% slower stamina drain. On the Twitch row, which is one of my favorite armors. I've actually upped this and used this into late game before. They increased the base defense, of course, but then instead of just the flat 20% increased attack speed, it's now 20 to 40% increased attack speed, which is really nice. I've used this a lot. Onto a dark glow. Dark glow, the base defense got buffed a little bit. And then the attack rating is now 60 to 120. And then instead of the flat 5% max resist to poison, cold, lightning, and fire, it's now 2 to 5%. So a little variability in that. And then they increased the all res instead of just a flat 10. It's now 10 to 15. Excuse me. On to Hawkmail, Hawkmail. Again, the base defense was buffed a little bit. The 10% faster run walk is now 25% faster run walk. This also gives 2 to 3 to Ravens. And then the 15 max cold res got reduced to 5%. And then the just cold resistance is now 15 to 30%. It still has a cannot be frozen. And some of these changes you might be asking, like, well, why do they give it Ravens? Well, they do sometimes try to just add like stats that are like thematic to the name, or maybe the purpose. It's called Hawkmail, but there's nothing that gives anything bird related. So they gave some Ravens. It's something. Anyway, moving on to Sparkling Mail. Here's also another example of that. So the base defense of Sparkling Mail got buffed a little bit. It's 1 to 20 lightning damage is now 1 to 45, and thematically they also gave it 5 to 10% lightning lightning skill damage. So there you go on that one. And then the lightning res is still 30%. The attacker taking lightning damage is now 20 to 28. Venom Ward. Same thing. They added a little thematic bonus to this one. Base defense got buffed a little bit. Now it has minus 6 to 12% enemy poison resistance. Instead of the flat 15 maximum poison res, it's now 5 to 8% maximum poison res. Instead of the 90% poison resistance, it is 40 to 60. And everything else is still the same, with the poison length reduction being 50% and the plus 2 to light raise. This is still a really popular, cheap Rathma armor. If you can get a 8% maximum poison res and slam 3 sockets into it, it's still very good. Very cheap. Moving on to Ice Blink. The base defense got increased. They added 1 to 2 cold skills. It still has freezes target. And then the 30% cold res is now 20 to 35%. The magic damage taken reduced by 1 is now 2 to 6. And that is it. Moving on to Bone Flesh. The base defense got buffed. That's going to be a common thing going through this. It now has a 10% chance to cast level 15 bone armor when struck, which is nice. The attack rating is now 235 instead of just 35. Lifesteal is still the same. Open wounds chance is still the same, but they did add 2 to 32 open wounds damage per second. Rock Fleece. the base. The base defense got reduced on this one just by a little bit. It was 212 to 243. Now it's 206 to 236. The only thing that really got changed on this one was the strength. Instead of just a flat 5, it's 10 to 15. And then instead of 10% physical damage reduced, it is now 10 to 15%. And then the flat phys damage taken reduced is 5 to 10. Other than that, it is still the same. Rattle Cage, it looks like its base defense was reduced just a little bit. They did add 60 to 90% enhanced damage on it, though, which is actually really nice. 10 to 45 to attack rating, 25% chance crushing blow. It still has that hit causes monsters to flee, but instead of 40%, which is actually really high, they reduced it to 7%. And still has the plus 200 to defense, and that's actually not bad. Rattle Cage is actually pretty good. Moving on to Heavenly Garb. This is actually one of my favorite items as well. The base defense was reduced again just a little bit. They gave it a 4 to 6 Sanctuary aura, though. That is awesome. They also gave it a +1 to magic skills. It has 50% damage to undead still. Pretty much everything's still the same. As far as the resistances, instead of the flat 10, it is now 10 to 20. But really, that Sanctuary aura is really nice. I have this on my my Merc right now, my Act 2 Merc, just to help me have a little minus enemy magic resistance when I pop them with Sanctuary and it blows up. Or not with Sanctuary, excuse me, with Sacrifice. So, pretty good. Gold Skin, the defense was lowered just a little bit, not much. Everything's still the same, except attacker takes damage is now 40 instead of 10. The extra gold from monsters now can roll 100 to 200, and other than that, it's still the same. So same old Gold Skin. Silks of the Valor, the defense was lowered actually a little bit more. It was 218. Or excuse me, it was 372 to 409, and now it's, it is 372 to 409. It was 468 to 514. It still has the +1 to all skills, but now it has 25% faster run walk. Instead of the flat 5% mana stolen per hit, it now rolls 2 to 5% mana stolen per hit, but it also gives you 2 to 4 life after each kill now, which it didn't before. So Silks of the Valor, really good item. On to exceptional chests. We all know this ghost armor. It's a Spirit Shroud, still very popular. Base defense got lowered a little bit. It still has the +1 to all skills, but now it has 30% faster cast rate. Amazing. The replenished life now can roll 10 to 20. It now has 10% curse resistance, which is actually really nice. And it still has a Cannot Be Frozen, and the magic damage taken reduced is still the same. Skin of the Viper Magi, another very popular one. No real changes to speak of other than just the all res got reduced. The top end got reduced slightly. Instead of rolling up to 35, it can now just roll up to 30. And then same thing with the magic damage taken reduced. It can now just only roll up to 5 to 8. But Viper Magi is still pretty much the same. Skin of the Flayed One. It looks like they lowered the defense just a little bit, even in the ethereal form. It adds 80 to 135 fire damage. Everything else is the same, other than they got rid of attacker takes damage. They added fire resistance, 20 to 45%, and it can actually repair durability 1 every 4 seconds instead of 1 every 10 seconds. So just kind of some, little changes here and there. Iron Pelt. Looks like they buffed the defense just a little bit. It now has 20 to 40% increased chance of blocking. Instead of flat 25 life, it can roll 80 to 100 life, but that's pretty big. But other than that, it's still the same. On to Spirit Forge. Looks like they buffed the defense just a little bit. Now Spirit Forge can actually roll 1 to 2 fire skills. Still has a flat fire damage. The fire resist was 5%, but now it's 20 to 30%. So just a little buff, and still comes with the 2 sockets. Crowcaw, which actually I really like this thing. This was my armor through Nightmare and Hell, I believe. So Crowcaw, they buffed the attack speed from 15% to 20%. Instead of faster hit recovery, it has plus 30% chance to pierce. It now comes with 50 to 80% enhanced damage. 35% chance of open wounds is still there, but it also gives that plus 70 to open wounds damage per second. And the enhanced defense is the same. Instead of flat 15 dexterity, it now rolls 20 to 30 dexterity. Pretty nice. I like Crowcaw. It's good armor. Okay, moving on to the Shaft Stop. The base defense got buffed a little bit. The 60 to life is now 100 to 140 life, and then the physical damage taken reduced is 20 to 30%. So a little variability instead of just the flat 30%. Moving on to Duriel Shell. The only thing that got changed on this was a little bit of the defense got nerfed, and it still has pretty much all the same stats like the cannot be frozen. The +1 life per character level can now roll 1 to 1.5 per character level, and that is it. Scolders Ire, man, I had a season where I just kept dropping these things constantly. Looks like the defense got lowered a little bit. Still has the +1 to all skill. Magic damage taken reduced. Now can roll 10 to 15. The magic find, based on character level, can now roll between 1 to 1.5%. Other than that, that's the same with a maximum of 148 now. So all the same for Scolders Ire. Guardian Angel. It looks like the defense got raised just a smidge. Instead of just +1 to paladin skills, though, it's now +1 to all skills, which makes it a little bit nicer for using for other classes. The attack rating definitely got buffed against demons. Instead of plus 2.5 per character level, it's now plus 14 per character level. So pretty big. But the other big change is instead of just that flat 15% maximum all resistances to poison, cold, lightning, or fire, it's now 4 to 6% maximum res for poison, cold, lightning, fire. Big nerf on that one, but it's still a very viable armor. And that's, I think the cap on resistances is, what, 90? I don't think it's 95. I think it's 90 now for max cap. So you don't really even need 15%. That this thing would have just max capped you on everything if you would have worn this one. So anyway, it's fine. Trust me. Tooth Row looks like the armor got nerfed just a little bit on the defense, but they added 15 to 25% deadly strike on it. Still has the 40% chance of open wounds, but they added the flat 30 to 350 open wounds damage per second. I'm not sure. They added, it says it came with 10 to strength, but over here now it's saying they added 10 to strength. I'm not sure. They removed the attacker takes damage though, but everything else looks the same. So they added some deadly strike on that. Let's see. The in-game graphic is bright white instead of appearing as the same as Saigon's Shelter. Okay. Atma's Whale. So the defense got buffed literally by 1, it looks like. Just a little bit. They did give Atma's Whale a +1 to all skills and 20 faster cast rate, which is nice. Still has a 30% FHR. The replenished life now can roll 20 to 30 instead of just flat 10. Increased maximum mana can now also go 20 to 30% instead of 15%. And then the MF is now 25% chance of getting a better item. So a little bit of buff to Atma's Whale. Kahagans. For some reason, I thought this was always 2, but I guess it's always been 1 to all skills. Anyway, they really lowered the defense on Kahagans. It was 628 to 861, but now it's 451 to 488. Keep that in mind. Everything's the same with the faster cast rate and the hit recovery, but they did change the 15 energy to 20 to 30 energy, and then the 3 to mana after each kill is now 6 to 9 mana after each kill. Moving on to Black Hades. I wish this armor was better, honestly. It just had, or at least had a little more stats. It's just kind of bleh. So the base defense just got nerfed a little bit. Damage to demons got buffed. Instead of 30 to 60, it's now 185 to 225%. And attack rating is now 400 to 450 instead of 200 to 250. Still has a half freeze duration. And instead of just 3 sockets, it can now roll 4 sockets, which is kind of one of the rarer things in this game. When you slam an item, the max sockets that an armor can get is 3. So an armor that has 4 sockets is kind of rare. There is another one that you'll see here later that has a lot of sockets. But anyway, we'll get into that later. Corpse Mourn. The base defense was lowered just a little bit. They removed the 6% chance to cast level 2 Iron Maiden when struck. They increased the fire damage. Instead of 12 to 36, it can now go 120 to 160 to 300 to 340 fire damage. That's a lot. This is a popular armor for vengeance. And then the corpse explosion, again, instead of the level 5 corpse explosion charges, it can now roll 30 to 40. Just corpse explosion, open skill. It has a 5% chance to reanimate it returned, and it has requirements minus 15%. So a lot of corpse explosions benefits on that one, as well as that fire damage. On to elite chests. Now, Oramus Robe got a rework this mod. First off, they buffed the defense a little bit. So Oramus Robe would always, as before, give you a +3 to a random sorcerer skill. But now what Oramus has, it now also has a 12% chance to cast that same random skill that you got, a level 26 version of it, on casting. So if you got, I don't know, Frozen Orb, +3 to Frozen Orb for your random skill, you will also have a 12% chance to cast a level 26 Frozen Orb on casting. So a lot of variety on this one. This one can be sought after. I know Combustion's a popular one. The Frozen Orb, like I said, pretty much any sorceress skill that is popular to use this season, people will be looking for Oramus Robe versions of it. The faster cast rate got buffed. Instead of 20%, it is now 30%. The mana regeneration, instead of 10 to 15%, is now 20 to 30%. Let's see. Here are the little notes. Before any sorceress skill, excluding those which require level 30, Frozen Orb, Hydra mastery skills. Okay, so maybe you can't get Frozen Orb? I could have sworn I've seen Frozen Orb. Maybe I'm thinking of Glacial Spike. Really? I could have sworn I've seen Frozen Orb before. But anyway, you can't get mastery skills because that's kind of pointless. Anyway, after any direct damage, non-utility sorceress skill, including for Inferno, the same skill will be used for both random attributes. Cooldown base skills proc chance have been reduced to 66% of the rate of other skills, whatever that means. Moving on. Gladiator's Bane. Looks like they nerfed the defense a little bit, but this is still a really good armor. They added 10% more to the faster hit recovery, so it's now 40%. Instead of the 20 or the 50 defense, it's now +2 to critical strike. The flat phys and magic damage was increased by 5, so the top end is now 15 to 25 for both physical and magical damage taken reduced, but that's flat. Still has the cannot be frozen, still has the poison length reduced, and then the attacker takes damage is now 600 to 700. So Gladiator's Bane, still a very popular item. Race Skin, which is a new armor, so I'll go through the stats. The defense can be 698 to 101. The required strength is 131. Required level is 54. This armor comes with 20% increased attack speed, 60 to 100% enhanced damage, maximum deadly strike plus 10%. The cap of deadly strike is like 75%, I think, so this will get you up to 85. Plus 130% enhanced defense, increased maximum life minus 5%. I thought they nerf this a little bit more. Anyway, curse resistance 40 to 50% and plus 4 to 6 life after each kill. So kind of interesting armor. I've still never used it. I have looked at use cases for it. Yeah. So anyway, maybe someone in the comments could let us know what they use Diamond Mail for. Arcane's Valor, as you see, the inventory graphic uses the art from the original Diablo game rather than the generic Balrog skin. Super duper cool armor. The defense got buffed a little bit. It was 1295 to 450. Now it's 130. Excuse me, 1355 to 1517. Still can roll the 1 to 2 all skills or only +1 if you have me identify it. And if I get it 2 all skills, I brick that thing every single time without fail. The faster hit recovery is now 40% faster hit recovery. The vitality per life instead of 0.5 is now just a flat 1. So the maximum it can roll for vitality is 99, which is really nice. And everything else is still pretty much the same. Very cool looking armor. I'm glad they're using some D1 graphic, some artwork and stuff, because might as well. Some of the art in Diablo 1 is amazing. On to Leviathan. The defense got buffed a little bit. And the only thing that they added to Leviathan was curse resistance is now plus 20%, which curse resistance is really, really nice. Still has the same physical damage taken reduced 15 to 25%. Now, on to Purgatory, which custom art. Shout out Erlen again. Thing looks awesome. This armor is new to the game. What this does is, as it says right here, it gains plus 60% enhanced damage per equipped ethereal item. And then it can roll, I guess, damage plus 0 to 420%. It would be the cap that you can do for it based on other. So if you had an ethereal helm and gloves and boots and weapons, you know, and that's, I think, and a belt, I guess. If you pretty much your whole guy was kitted up with ethereal stuff, except for amulets and rings, you could get an extra 420% damage on it. The one thing that is, I think, is the common gripe about this plate is that this base doesn't roll ethereal all the time. So maybe they're doing that on purpose, but people are like, what's the point of, if you get like a non-ethereal one of these armors, it's not like, people don't really care, it seems like. So unfortunate, but it does come with 20% faster block rate, 20% increased chance of blocking, 220 to 260 enhanced defense, magic damage taken reduced by 16 to 240, better chance, MF is 40 to 65%, and then repair, it comes with repairs durability once every 4 seconds. So that's why people are kind of like, just give me an ethereal version of it. Maybe they're doing it just to make it more rare, but anyway, I've never used it, but I know that seems to be the sentiment around that armor. This armor is super slept on, and I think it's freaking awesome. Shadow plate, which is steel carapace. Looks like the defense got buffed a lot of defense on the thing. To 2230 to 2439 defense, huge. Instead of the 8% chance to cast a level 6 Iron Maiden, it's now a 4% chance to cast a level 26 Iron Maiden when struck. They give a 1 to 2 all skills, 40% faster hit recovery, bigger enhanced defense. They remove the regenerate mana. The cold res is still the same. The physical damage taken reduced is now 19 to 24. And then they added a lot of attacker takes damage, 1400 to 1600. And it can repair itself still. So this is a really, really nice armor. I like it a lot. Big defense. On to Templar's Might. This got a big change as well. This is a very popular mercenary item. So the defense got buffed a bunch. So instead of the 1 to 2 offensive auras for Paladin only, they got rid of that. Now it comes with a native level 6 to 8 Might aura when equipped. It's awesome. It's really, really nice. Everything else is still pretty much the same. They buffed the attributes for strength and vitality. It's now 20 to 30 for both strength and vitality, and they added 20 to 30% curse resistance. So the might aura is really what is going to depend on how valuable this thing is for you. Level 8s with a good slam, like 3 sockets, is very sought after. You know, they can be very expensive, but you know, if you just need a might aura, you know, on your Act 2 work, you can go ahead and throw this guy on. It's for a level 6, and I bought these for like, you know, a Vex or something like that, level 6 one. So with a bad slam. Okay, on to some of the big boys. Here's the Tyrael's Might. The defense got buffed. And then the faster run walk, instead of 20%, it is now 45%. Enhanced damage to demons is now, and undead is now 200 to 250 instead of 500 or 50 to 100. And then they also added damage to undead as well. And everything else is still the same. The enhanced defense is the same. The strength is 20 to 30. All resistance is 20 to 30. Cannot be frozen, still there. Requirements minus 100. But yeah, just faster run walk, and they added the damage to undead and no more slain monsters rest in peace. On to some of the new armors. These ones, this is going to be the D clone armor, the lacquered plate, called the Dark Abyss. I'll just go through the stats so that since this is the new one. Base defense is 1662 to 2327. It comes with a +1 all skill. It comes with 50% faster cast rate. Can roll with 150 to 250 enhanced defense. Comes with plus 60% cold skill, or excuse me, cold res. Man, sorry, it's the morning now. By the way, I'm filming this the next day because I wasn't able to finish yesterday. Fire res is minus 30%, so a negative attribute on that one. And then it comes with 4 to 6 mana after each kill, 4 to 6 life after each kill, and requirements minus 20. So this is a D-clone item. It can only drop if you're fighting D-clone on tier 1 or tier 2 difficulty. Moving on to the last one. This is Cage of the Unsullied. This is a special item that the developers made to pay tribute to one of their friends, Unsullied, who unfortunately is no longer with us. And it is quite the tribute. This thing is insane. So it's a bone weave. The defense is 1470 to 1960. It comes with a base 200 to 300% enhanced defense. All res 15 to 20. Minus 4 to 8 light radius. But this isn't really insane. But it can come with 6 sockets. Yup. This armor can roll with 6 big old sockets. So again, this item is exclusively dropped from Rathma, and again, it has to be T1 or T2. But yep, that is one of the super unique items, and that is going to end the armor for us today. So now we're going to move on to shields. Okay, so shields, the Pelta Lunata, no changes to speak of here. Moving on to Umbral Disc. Again, these are normal shields. The only thing they changed to Umbral Disc is that they just added flat 4 to 8 damage, and then they did remove the minus 2 to light radius, but all the same. Storm Guild. The base speed penalty was minus 5%, but they removed that. They added just a little bit more lightning damage to it. It was 1 to 6. Now it's 1 to 18. And then magic damage taken reduced. Instead of just a flat 1, it's 1 to 3. And then attacker takes lightning damage is now a flat 9. So not a lot of changes. Sword back, they added just some flat plus 8 to open wounds damage per second. Again, these are normal shields. These are just things if you're going through early ladder and you find one of them. It's like, oh, cool, a unique shield. Nothing too special. Attacker takes damage, though, instead of just 10, it is 25 to 32. And again, I'm telling you guys, attacker takes damage actually can help with like trash mobs and stuff like that, especially range stuff. Yeah, it actually does pretty okay. On to Steel Clash. This one did get a rework a little bit. Steel Clash, instead of a +1 to Paladin skills, it's now a +1 to all skills, which is very, very nice. They did nerf the all res though. Instead of just a flat +15 to all resistances, it's now 5 to 10. And they did remove the physical damage taken reduced by 3. They just removed it outright. This is still a really popular low-level dueling shield. If you get a good slam on some of these low-level items, people will actually pay. Like, I've sold one of these that had, I think it was 5% max life. I sold it for a Vex, you know. So if people are low-level duelers or are familiar with low-level dueling gear, and you get a good slam like, yeah, max life or something like that, or deadly strike on Blood Fist or something like that, you can, or attack speed on Blood Fist, whatever that people need, you can actually sell them for kind of decent. I was surprised. So I go check those prices. So anyway, moving on to Wall of the Eyeless. The only thing they added some resistances to it. Still has the 20% faster cast rate. Still has the mana steal per hit, but it now has cold res 20%, fire res 20%. Still has the poison, and now it rolls a range of 3 to 5 mana after each kill. Bevert Keep. They got rid of the speed penalty. It was -10%. Now it's just 0%. They made the strength roll 5 to 15 strength. The fire res is no longer +75. It's now 30 to 50%, but they did give it some PDR percentage, so it can roll 5 to 10% physical damage taken reduced, which is actually always nice, and everything else is still the same. Moving on to the Ward. Again, base speed penalty got rid of. Instead of -5%, it's just 0. No changes to the stats. You know, still has the all res 30 to 50. And that's about it. All the same. On to exceptional shields. This is, I don't even know if I want to try to pronounce this. Visceratant, whatever. Did my best. The only thing they changed is they actually added 5 to 10% lightning damage, which is really nice. And then the attacker takes lightning damage is 35 to 50 instead of flat 10. So just a little thematic change, I guess, on that one. Still has the +1 to sword skill, and it still has the faster block rate and 30% chance of blocking. Moser's Blessed Circle. So this one just got +10 curse resistance added to it, and then the 25 all res got reduced to just 20 all resistance. It still comes with the 2 sockets, though. Storm Chaser. This is a new item from, again, look at that artwork. Beautiful. I'm pretty sure this is a new item. It looks like it was changed 5% to now it's 0. Maybe this was just for shields in general. They might have just got rid of any base speed penalty for shields. Maybe not. Or maybe they did. Like, I swear I don't remember this artwork from D2. Maybe someone correct me. Maybe they just added new artwork to it. That could have been a thing. So I see all these adjustments. So it had a 4% chance to cast a level 5 Tornado Windstruck. Now it's an 8% chance to cast a level 15 Tornado Windstruck. Same thing goes for Blizzard. Now it's an 8% chance to cast a level 9 Blizzard Windstruck. It has 20% to 30% faster run walk. It has a 150 to 250 attack rating instead of just 150. Lightning damage is now 1 to 270 lightning damage, and now instead of half freeze duration, it has cannot be frozen, which I didn't realize it had cannot be frozen on it. Wow, interesting. So not a bad shield, not a bad one. Lance Guard. They added 50% faster block rate. Instead of just 20% deadly strike, it's now 25 to 35% deadly strike. And they gave some dexterity. That plus 50 to life is now 2.5 per character life. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, guys, I'm just fumbling right now. It now has plus 2.5 life per character level. And then the attacker take damage actually gave it a lot there. Attacker takes damage of 165 to 265. They did remove the 15% damage taken gained as mana when hit, though. On to Time Match Rebuke. They added a 15% chance to cast level 12 Hydra when struck, 15% chance to cast a level 17 Nova when struck, 15% chance to cast a level 19 Frost Nova when struck. And then they just kind of buffed all the elemental damage you can get from this. Fire, lightning, and cold. And the resistances are still the same, and then plus 40 to durability, all the same. On to Lidless. This one got a little bit of a rework. They buffed the skills. Instead of just +1, it is now a 1 to 2. And then, of course, you can slam a plus skill on this Lidless. So +3 Lidlesses are very expensive. You know, I've sold them, I think, for like 7 high rooms before at one point. Very, very good. Everything else is still the same. Has the faster cast rate. 4 to 6 mana after each kill. Is the only real change to that. But yeah, the 1 to 2 skills. I have been getting 1 skills all the time. Let's go around. On to Gurk's Sanctuary. So again, base speed penalty was removed. Gurk's now has a +1 to all skill and 20% faster block rate. They increased the replenish life from 15 to 25. And then the physical damage taken reduced is increased to 14 to 18. And that's flat damage. It's not percent. But yeah, plus all skill and block rate on Gurk's. Moving on to Radament's Sphere. So Radament has a 12% chance to cast a level 35 Poison Nova when struck, plus 1 to 2 poison skills, 30% faster cast rate, 20% faster block rate still, 35% chance increase of blocking as opposed to the 20% that it was on. The poison res can now roll 50 to 75%. And then the poison damage, instead of 80 poison damage over 4 seconds, it's 240 poison damage over 2 seconds, which that's pretty big. And then they removed the level 6 poison explosion because poison explosion doesn't exist in this one anymore. They changed it. On to Elite Shield. So Black Oak Shield definitely got a rework. So instead of a 4% chance to cast level 5 weakening when struck, it gives you a level 11 chilling armor when equipped, which is awesome. Still has the same block rate, 50%, but now it gives you 6 to 10 maximum cold res, minus 10 to 20% enemy cold resistance. All the other stats are still the same with the dexterity and the life per level. They did remove the cold absorb. But they did add cannot be frozen instead of half freeze duration. So this shield's actually pretty awesome. So pretty awesome. Here is a new shield, Twilight's Reflection. I'm actually going to try to do something with this one for jabs on, one hand jabs on if I could get something going. Twilight's Reflection, I'll just go through some of the stats. The defense can be 285 to 378. 44% chance to block for Druid Necrosorc, 49% chance to block for Amazon Assassin Barbarian, and 54% chance to use it if you use it on a Paladin. Required strength is 127, required level is 48. It has a 6% chance to cast a level 14 Cloak of Shadows on blocks, which is really cool. It comes with minus 10% enemy physical resistance, 20% increased chance of blocking, 20 to 30% reduced curse duration, 140 to 180% enhanced defense. Curse resistance can be 20 to 30%, and then lightning resistance is plus 35%. So very cool shield, giving you that minus enemy physical resistance. And moving on to Spikethorn. Everything's still the same, except they added flat 50 to 80 damage. The physical damage taken reduced percentage is now 15 to 25% instead of 15 to 20%. They did increase the attacker takes damage per level instead of 1.375 they increased it to 30 per character level, so you can get up to like 200 over 2,000 attacker takes damage. They removed the one socket, but you can just slam more sockets in this thing if you want, or you could Larzik it. Anyway, so good Thorn Shield. Moving on to Storm Shield. Nothing really to speak of too much other than the strength is now 20 to 30 instead of just 30. Cold res instead of 60% is now 40 to 50%. Still has a 25% lightning damage. The flat physical damage, 35% now rolls between 20 to 30%, so that's a big change. And then attacker takes damage instead of attacker takes lightning damage instead of 10. It is now 150 to 250 of lightning damage. So a little bit of change for Storm Shield. Headhunter's Glory. This one got a rework. It is a very popular shield. It has a 12% chance to cast. Level 31 amplifies damage on striking. Yes, that is huge. It still has the same defense versus missiles. Curse resistance is 20 to 30%. Excuse me. Like I said, it's in the morning. 20 to 30%. Still has the same fire resistances, poison reds. Still has the 5 to 7 life after each kill, and it can roll 1 to 3 sockets. Moving on to Medusa's Gaze. This one got reworked a little bit. Base block chance was 24%. Now it's 46%. Movement penalty change. Defense got buffed. Looks like the block percent chance got increased across the board for all the classes. Required strength was 219. Now it's 165. So definitely changed some stuff. Medusa's Gaze now has a 10% chance to cast a level 14 lower res when struck instead of a level 7. It has a +2 to cold skills now, and it comes with 30 to 40% faster cast rate. So pretty big rework on it. Still comes with the life steal, slows target, enhanced defense, and cold resistance. But now it also has requirements -25%. So this is actually a popular shield now, especially for cold classes. Spirit Ward. They increased the base defense as well as the block chance. And again, they reworked. Look like they just buffed block per class across the board. Still same strength, still same item level requirement, but now instead of 5% chance to cast level 8 fade when struck, it has a 35% chance to cast a level 10 lesser fade when struck. Level 10 lesser fade, it grants 20% all res, 10% PDR, and 28% curse duration reduction for 30 seconds. It's just not full fade, but it's still really good. It also gives +2 to random class skills, so you can find one that has Amazon, Necro, Paladin, Barbarian, whatever, So it's a little bit of a roll of the dice when you find one of these. It still has the same faster block rate, increased chance of blocking, all res, and the cold absorb is all the same. The all res, I should say, actually isn't 30 to 40, it is 20 to 30. But yeah, so a little bit of a rework for Spirit Ward. On to Necro Shields, Necro Offhands. This is a new item for Project Diablo 2. This is called Kalan's Legacy. It has a defense of 78 to 123, 43% block chance, required strength 38, required level 26. So this is an early game item, and it gives you a 4 to 6 vigor aura when equipped, +1 to necro skills, 20% faster block rate, 20% increased chance of blocking, +40 to 75% defense, and it can roll with 1 to 2 sockets. So this is a nice one to help your minions move a little bit faster, give both you and them a vigor aura. On to Homunculus. So they increased maximum sockets. It was 2, now it can roll 3. They got rid of the +2 curses to Necromancer. They got rid of that, but it still has the +2 Necromancer skills in general. Block rate's the same, increased chance of blocking is the same, energy's the same. They did make the resistances instead of just 40. They made it roll between 30 to 40. Other than that, it's still the same. So got rid of the plus curses, and they just added max sockets to it. Well, it can roll up to maximum sockets. You still have to slam them. Onto Bone Flame. Same thing. It used to be max sockets was 2, and now it's 3. And they made it to where 5% chance to cast level 3 terror when struck. Instead of 2 to 3 necro skills, which it used to roll, now it's just a flat 3. Plus 30% faster run walk. And then it gives physical damage taken reduced by 10 to 20%. And then it also gives 4 to 8 life after each kill. So kind of nice, Bone Flame. Bone Flame's kind of nice. Onto Dark Force Spawn. Again, looks like they just kind of changed it to all Necro Offhands. It was 2, but now they can roll up to 3 max sockets. Dark Force spawn, you may apply an additional curse. So just like that, what one was it? I think Halbert's Reign or something like that. The Barbarian Helm we saw, you can apply an additional curse now. So that's actually really good. And then the rolls for the poison and bone skills, summon skills, and curse skills. It used to be 1 to 3. Now it's 2 to 3. So it's a little more forgiving when you find this. It's not going to be instant trash when you just see +1 skills, but it still has the poison and bone, summon, and curse skills to it. Still has a 30% faster cast rate. And then instead of the increased maximum mana 10%, it's now increased maximum mana 40 to 50%, which is huge. Fire res now comes with plus 50%. And it has a 5% chance to reanimate a Oblivion Knight. So pretty cool. On to Sacred Totem. Sacred Totem is one of the new uniques that came out. This one is kind of like a Rakanishu theme. This guy kind of like a blue head. It looks like a fallen head. So anyway, same thing. Can roll up to 3 maximum sockets, which we slammed 103 sockets, and it's just not selling, unfortunately. Defense is 355 to 390. 28% block chance, required strength 82, required level 64, and it has a 66% chance to cast a level 55 charge bolt when struck. +2 to necromancer skills. It can roll 2 to 3 low resistance, 2 to 3 amp damage, 150 to 175 enhanced defense. You may summon 4 additional revives. Lightning resist 45%, and it has a 2 to 3 chance to roll reanimate as fallen shaman, and 4 to 6 chance to reanimate a fallen. So pretty cool, pretty cool. I wish I showed the art. The art's really cool. On to Martyrdom, which is another unique offhand to Project Diablo 2. Same thing, can roll up to 3 sockets, and the defense is 371 to 429. Block chances to 28%. Required strength is 91. Required level is 68. And this has a 15% chance to cast a level 35 bone armor on striking. Interesting. It does it on striking. Huh. It can do 2 to 3 necromancer skills, 35% faster hit recovery, 35% increased chance of blocking, adds 300 to 350 poison damage over 2 seconds, +2 to poison strike. And poison strike is really good in this game. Plus 160 to 200% enhanced defense, curse resistance 20 to 30%, magic damage taken reduced 18 to 24. So very cool shield. Moving on to Paladin shields. Here's a new item from exclusive to Project Diablo 2. Senkickers Fall. Whatever, I did my best. This is a normal shield, so you can find it in your leveling journey. It's kind of for vengeance. It has ignores target defense, adds just some elemental damage, fire, lightning, cold, and then 120 to 165 enhanced defense. Magic damage taken reduced is 2 to 5, and then 2 to 4 life after each kill. Like I said, this is kind of for vengeance. Vengeance, the way they reworked it, benefits from flat elemental damage. So there's like 40 to 120 fire damage, 1 to 185 lightning damage, 55 to 90 cold damage. It increases that by a lot. So those, you fill your charm inventory out with flat elemental damage stuff, and yeah, your vengeance really bonks. So this is a shield that you can find in normal. Very cool artwork again. Moving on to Herald of Zakarum, the Hawes shield. What they changed was, instead of just +2 to combat skills, it's 1 to 2. Instead of +2 to paladin skills, it's +2 to all skills. I don't really know why they did that, because it can only be paladin. It's only a paladin shield. So I guess this kind of helps for, you can use it for your offhand, now that I think about it. So if you have one of these for while you're using your CTA and you're using battle orders and battle command, I guess it will increase that as well. So I guess that makes kind of sense. Anyway, moving on, they, instead of 20% bonus to attack rating, it's now 30% bonus to attack rating. And then the strength and vitality can now roll 15 to 25 instead of just 20. And then the all resist instead of +50 is just +40. This is still a chunk of a shield. So Alma Negra got a rework too. This is actually really cool as shield. Instead of 1 to 2 paladin skills, it's now just a flat 2 to all skills. Joust cooldown is reduced by half a second, and Joust is just like Gust for the Druid is their movement skill. Joust is the Paladin's one, where you can jump onto enemies. It gives you attack rating bonus and enhanced damage for a little bit, and movement. It's a really cool ability. So this helps you reduce the cooldown of it. Excuse me. The block rate and increased chance of blocking are the same. The enhanced damage, though, instead of 40 to 75%, is now 160 to 200 enhanced damage. And then the bonus to attack rating, instead of 40 to 75%, is now 100 to 150 bonus to attack rating. And then the magic damage taken reduced is 10 to 18. On to Dragon Scale. This one definitely got a rework. It has a 24% chance to cast a level 45 Hydra on block. 20% increased chance of blocking. Still has that flat fire damage. It has 15 to 20% increased fire damage. They remove the plus 10 to Hydra. Still has the same enhanced defense. It just has a flat 25 to strength now. And then it gives a 4 to 6 maximum fire res. And then the physical damage taken reduced instead of the fire absorb is 15 to 25%. So pretty badass. Moving on to Sky Warden. Sky Warden is a new shield. The defense 573 to 658, 92% block chance. 92%. What? That doesn't seem right. I don't know. Maybe this means something else. Anyway, required strength 148, required level 77. So what this does, this is new to this season. 16% chance to cast level 35 Cyclone Armor on block, which is awesome. Plus 2 to offensive auras. Plus 1 to 2 paladin skills. 30% increased chance of blocking. 20% chance of crushing blow, which I always love. 135 to 170 enhanced defense. 15 to 25 dexterity. Cold res 75% and lightning res 50%. So that is going to be it for all the shields. We'll be moving on to gloves next. Okay, we are on the gloves. And the more I'm doing these, I'm like, man, maybe I'll just break these all up into separate videos. I don't know. We'll see. So, gloves. Normal ones, you'll find these as your early leveling journey continues through the ladder. So, normal gloves, the Hand of Brock. The Hand of Brock. For some reason, I thought it was Borok or something. Anyway, the Hand of Brock. Melee attacks deal splash damage. So that's kind of a given for most weapons. So maybe if you wore this on like a Sork thing and your little club will splash more. I don't know. They added 20 to 30 enhanced damage. Still has the mana and lifesteal, and everything else is still the same. Let's see. Melee splash is useful for shape-shifted characters who use ranged weapons instead of melee weapons. Shapeshift characters who use ranged weapons instead of melee weapons. Oh, maybe if like they're using like, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Someone drop a comment what the combo is here. What weapon with these gloves? I don't know. Anyway, moving on to Blood Fist. Melee attacks deal splash damage. Still has an increased attack speed. They did add 5 to 10 maximum damage instead of just the flat 5. And everything else still the same. I got to sneeze. Give me 1 sec. Ugh. Son of a gun. Ooh, pardon me. Moving on to Chance Guards. They just added 1 to 2 mana after each kill. It still has that 25 to 40% MF on it. All the same on Chance Guards, though. Mage Fist, the only thing that they changed is it now has 6 to 36 flat fire damage. And then the regenerate mana now has to roll between 15 to 25% instead of just 25%. Frostburn's got a little bit of rework. Defense got lowered. The bottom end got lowered. The top end got raised. So instead of 5% enhanced damage, it now has 14 to 28 fire damage. And then the cold damage is 6 to 22. And then it gives minus 5 to 10% enemy cold or minus 5 to 10 enemy fire resistance. So that's pretty nice. And then they raise the enhanced defense a little bit. And then the maximum mana is reduced from 40% to 15 to 25%. On to exceptional gloves. Venom Grip now has 2 to 4 lifesteal per hit instead of the plus 60 poison damage over 4 seconds. It now has 10 to 15% poison skill damage. Instead of the 5% crushing blow, it's now 5 to 10% crushing blow. And then everything else is still the same, including the 5% to maximum poison resist. On to Grave Palm. They actually added +1 to summoning skills for Grave Palm. And then they also added 10 to 15% Deadly Strike. So kind of a unique mashup on this one. But yeah, these are popular for Necros because it's the only one that you can get +1 summoning skills on. Moving on to Ghoul Hide. They added 20% increased attack speed on Ghoul Hide. The undead and attack range undead is still all the same. Same thing with the mana steal is still 4 to 5%, but they did add 20 to 40 life instead of just 20 life on it. On to Lava Gout. So since they changed enchant, it's now enchant fire. The 2% chance to cast level 10 enchant fire on striking. Still has a 20% increased attack speed. The flat fire damage is 26 to 92. And then they also gave 3 to 5% maximum fire resist, which is actually really nice. And which I didn't realize they gave you that. Fire resistance is 24 to 36%, and it gives half freeze duration and 20 durability as well. Moving on to Hellmouth. Instead of a 4% chance to cast level 12 Firestorm on striking, it's an 8% chance to cast a level 22 Molten Boulder on striking. And then it also has a 4% chance to cast a level 34 Meteor on striking. So kind of nice. It does add 30 to 144 fire damage instead of 15 to 72. It does give -5 to 10 enemy fire resistance. And then instead of the plus 15 fire absorb, it has attacker takes damage of 250 to 400. So a little bit of a change to Hellmouth. Here for the elite gloves, we have some Bramble Mitts, which are Titan's Grip. This is a new item for Project Diablo 2. It gives you 20% faster block rate, 15 to 20% increased chance of blocking, 140 to 185 enhanced defense, 120 defense against missiles, lightning resistance, 25 to 35%, and then half freeze duration. So another thing you can use to get max block without being a paladin or counting it on your shield or what have you. Drax Grasp. So this one, I guess some people consider it a nerf, but they got rid of life tap. So no longer 5% chance to cast a level 10 life tap on striking. Sorry guys, life tap is kind of busted against Ubers, but this is still a really useful item. 7 to 10% life steal is now 8 to 12% life stolen per hit. The open wounds is still there, but they did give 240 to 320 flat open wounds damage per second. Defense is still the same. They buffed the strength to 20 to 30 instead of 10 to 15. And it still has the 5 to 10 life after each kill. These are kind of mandatory for my build for running Sacrifice because I really need all that life steal and life after each kill. So Soul Drainer's got a bit of a rework. Instead of 8% chance to cast level 3 Weakening, it just gives -5% enemy physical resistance, which is really nice. They did lower the 4 to 7 mana and lifesteal. Now it's 2 to 3, but it's fine. It does come with the -50 to monster defense per hit. And it does kind of have a thematic change where you have Drain Life -30 on it now. So keep that in mind. If you're running Soul Drainers, your life will go down. Occultist Gloves, Crusader Gauntlets is the new item to Project Diablo 2. These ones are really cool. 20% faster cast rate, 25 to 35% reduced curse duration, hits blinds targets, 80 to 100% enhanced defense, increased maximum mana, 25 to 35%. Steel Rend is, it got a bit of a change. It has melee attacks deal splash damage. The enhanced damage got increased to 60 to 80%. The crushing blow got increased to 20 to 30%. And then the defenses are the same. Strength's the same. It does come with attacker takes damage of 250. So that is going to be it for the gloves. Okie dokie. Now we're doing boots. So these are normal boots you'll find on your early leveling journey. We got hot spurs. They reduced the 15 maximum fire res to 4 to 6. And then they also reduced the 45% fire res to 20 to 30. Moving on to Gorefoot, which I don't remember these in base vanilla. Maybe I just never found them. So anyway, they changed Gorefoot to, they adjusted some of the kick damage. I'm not really going to go into that. They lowered the defense a little bit. So the 20% faster run walk is now 25%. The 20 to 30% leap and leap attack movement speed, they gave you that. So your leap and leap attack is faster. +2 to leap, barbarian only. 2 to 4 mana stolen per hit. And then they did remove the defense, and attacker takes damage of 2. Treads of Chthon, kick damage. I'm not going to go into that. So they did add 20% chance to pierce on it, and then now it can roll 10 to 30 life. Moving on to one of my favorite pairs of boots, I don't think they get enough love, is Goblin Toe, especially in this one. So Goblin Toe got 20% faster run walk. It now comes with 20 to 30% enhanced damage. The 25% of crashing blow is 15 to 25%, so you got to roll that. And then they buffed the physical damage and the magic damage taken, reduced the flat to 3 to 5 instead of just 1. And then they did remove the -1 to light radius. Tier Haunch, they added +2 to defensive ores, paladin only. Now it rolls 1 to 2 vigor instead of just 2. And then the strength and dexterity can be 5 to 10 instead of just 5. Moving on to exceptional boots, Inferno Stride. It has a level 18% chance to cast a level 16 blaze when struck. 30% chance faster run walk. They increased the flat fire damage 24 to 66. Maximum fire resistance now got reduced to 5% maximum fire res instead of 10, and everything else looks the same. Water Walks, which is a very popular boot. They increased the faster run walk to 30%. They got rid of the 10 defense versus missile and added 20% faster block rate. The stats are the same, the lives are the same, the stamina is the same, and so is the 5% to maximum fire res. On to Silkweave. The only thing they changed, instead of the increased maximum mana is 10%, they now can be increased maximum mana is 10 to 20%. War Travelers, nothing was changed other than like kick damage stuff. But so yeah, War Travelers are still the same. 30 to 50% better chance of getting magic items, and that's no different. Moving on to Gore Riders, very popular boots as well. They made the Deadly Strike, instead of 15%, it's now 15 to 20%. It still has that 15% crushing blow, 10% chance of open wounds. They did add the flat 140 to 200 open wounds damage per second, and they did get rid of the +20 to maximum stamina anyway. So there's that. Elite boots. This is a new one for Project Diablo 2. They're wormhide boots. That's merman sprockets. They give you +60% faster run walk, adds 40 to 80 cold damage, 50 to 100 defense, regenerate mana 10 to 20%, 50 to 100 maximum stamina, 50% slower stamina drain. These boots are really cool. I got a couple different pairs of them with some different slams. Another one of my favorite boots, Sandstorm's Trek. They changed this one a little bit this season. Everything's pretty much the same, but they reworked. It now gives +4 to maximum poison res, and it does give you they did reduce that 40 to 70 poison resistance to 30 to 50%. It was a little high, but I like these boots because they give you faster hit recovery. It's one of the only boots to do it, and they give you vitality. So these boots are actually pretty awesome. And if you're doing a Thorns build, attacker takes damage is at 480 to 540. So there is that. On to Marrow Walk. Not a whole lot of changes. They regenerate mana is now 10 to 20% instead of 10%. They got rid of half freeze duration, and now it just has cannot be frozen. And then they also removed the charges for Bone Prison and Life Tap. On to Shadow Dancers. These got a little bit of a rework. They still got the 1 to 2 Shadow Disciplines. They still got the faster run walk, faster hit recovery. Dang, I didn't know they were 30% faster hit recovery. Interesting. But they now also have curse resistance plus 20%, and then the minus requirements is minus 25%, and then the dexterity instead of 15 to 25 is now 20 to 30. On to the last boots for this. These are declone boots. Again, just like the other ones, you can only drop these from tier 1 or tier 2 declone fights. These are mirrored boots. They're Ithriel's Path. They come with 20% faster run walk, 20% faster cast rate. That's right, these boots have cast rate. They're the only boots that do. 20% faster hit recovery, 40 to 60 defense, 10 to 15 dexterity, 10 to 15 vitality. So there is a chase item for you bossers out there. And then we'll be going on to belts. Okie dokie. On to belts. Linimo. Yep, these are normal belts. Okay, Linimo, they gave it 10% faster cast rate. And then the regenerate mana is now 20 to 30%. Onto Snake Cord, instead of 12 poison damage over 3 seconds, it gives you 4 to 6% poison skill damage. And then the replenished life instead of 5 is now 5 to 15. Onto Night Smoke, no changes to Night Smoke at all. Gold Wrap, instead of 10% increased attack speed, it now is 20% increased attack speed, and instead of just a flat 30% better chance of MF is now 20 to 40%. A little bit of increase on that one. Blade Buckle, instead of 30% faster hit recovery, it now rolls 20 to 30%. And then the Fizz damage taken reduced is now 4 to 7 flat. And then the attacker takes damage, got buffed a bunch, is now 420 to 480 attacker takes damage. Onto Exceptional Belts. String of Ears, one of my favorite belts. No changes at all. It still has the 10 to 15% physical damage taken reduced, as well as the flat magic damage, and it still has that 6 to 8 life stolen per hit. Great belt. Razor Tail. They added 10 to 20 max damage instead of just 10. It still has that 33% chance to pierce. Defense got a little bit of a buff, and dexterity is now 15 to 20 instead of just 15. Gloom's Trap, they added 10 to 20% faster cast rate, so not a bad choice if you're just looking for an FCR belt. And other than that, everything is all still the same for Gloom's Trap. Snow Clash got a little bit of a rework. It still has the 5% chance to cast Blizzard, but yeah, it's still the level 7 to 20. I didn't know that would roll ranges. So apparently you can roll between a level 7 or a level 20 Blizzard Windstruck. Interesting. So this belt also comes with a 1 to 2 to cold skills, which is very good. They increase the flat cold damage 39 to 63. Instead of 15% max cold res, they have 5 to 8 max cold res now. They got rid of the +2 to Chilling Armor, Blizzard, Glacial Spike, all that, and now it just gives half freeze duration, and then instead of the cold absorb, it's 30 to 45% cold resist. But that 1 to 2 cold skills is pretty cool. On to Thunder God's Vigor. Thunder Gods, instead of the 5% chance to cast a level 7 Fist of the Heavens when struck, it has a 5% chance to cast a level 17 Fist of the Heavens when struck. It gives a +2 to lightning skills. It adds 1 to 150 to 250 lightning damage. Defense is the same. The strength and vitality got nerfed a little bit. Now it's 10 to 15 strength, 10 to 15 vitality. Instead of just the flat 10 to maximum lightning res, it now can roll 5 to 8% maximum lightning res. And they're doing that just to add a little RNG to the belt, and so the market doesn't get so stagnant, I feel. Speaking of variability on this one, here's the Elite Belt's Arachnid Mesh, the very popular one. It still has the +1 to all skill, but instead of the flat 20 FCR, it now can roll 10 to 20 FCR, which, people are kind of frustrated with. It sucks getting a really low roll on this one. It's almost not even worth slamming because people are really looking for those 30% FCR belts, faster cast rate belts. Anyway, so yeah, keep that in mind with Arachnid's Mesh, that your faster cast rate can vary. Slows target by 20%. And then increased maximum mana is 5 to 10%. And then it does come with 31 venom charges. Anyway, I guess they're just keeping that. On to another very popular melee belt, Nosferatu's Coil. Instead of 10% increased attack speed, it's 20% increased attack speed. They lowered the lifesteal a little bit. It's 3 to 6 instead of 5 to 7, but they did add 10% deadly strike, which is nice. 10 to 15 strength, and then they did remove the minus light radius. Verdungo's did not get changed at all. Still has that physical damage taken reduced by 10 to 15%. Still's got the vitality. Still has a faster hit recovery. No changes there. Sigurd's Staunch. I wish this had a picture because it's very cool artwork. Shout out again, Erlen. This is the belt I'm using. I think this is one of the best belts in the game. I think you can get a steal on this belt too if you go and trade for it. People don't really know how to price it yet, and that's our benefit. I'm sure it's going. I've seen some of them go up to for a Vex, but I got mine for like 3 World Stone shards because I was like, hey, this guy didn't know what he had. So anyway, Sigurd Staunch. The defense is 288 to 360. Required strength 185. Required level 72. It gives 20% crushing blow, and it gives 4 to 6 to Iron Skin open skill. 300 to 400 in enhanced defense, increase max life 5 to 10%. Mine's 9%, so it's awesome. 50% slower stamina drain, repairs 1 durability in 4 seconds. So yeah, this thing is a chonk, dude. This thing chonks very hard. And now we're moving on to the last one, which is the super unique. This is Band of Skulls, a troll belt. This is a Rathma only item. Again, these items only drop from Rathma tier 1 or tier 2, with a very, 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 very low chance of dropping. But they're pretty cool. Anyway, 6% chance to cast a level 28 bone armor when struck. It gives 100 to 150 enhanced defense. Physical damage taken reduced by 10%. 25 to 30% better chance of finding a magic item, -4 light res, and it comes with 1 socket. Yes, you can have a belt with a socket in it. Pretty cool. It says belt can't normally have sockets. So anyway, that is it for belts. We are going to move on to amulets and rings next, and then that should do it for all non-weapon uniques. Okay, moved on to unique amulets and rings. I'm going to try to do these together. Nokazan's, it has 20 to 30 FHR. The flat fire damage is now 3 to 6 to 7 to 12. The 10 to maximum fire res is now 4 to 8 maximum fire res. And then the plus 50 to fire resistance is 20 to 35. And it still has the plus 3 to light radius. Eye of Etlich still has the +1 to all skill. The cold damage just got buffed up a little bit, and everything else still the same with lifesteal, defense versus missiles, and light radius. Curio's got a 5 to 10 faster cast rate on it. This 10% bonus to attack rating is now 30 to 50% bonus to attack rating, and the defense is now 5 to 10 instead of just a flat 10%. The attributes is now 5 to 10 to all attributes, and then the all res is 5 to 10. So just a little bit more range with a big buff to bonus to attack rating, and then also that 5 to 10 faster cast rate. Saracen's Chance, instead of the level 2 Iron Maiden when struck, it has a 10% chance to cast the level 12 Iron Maiden when struck. They also added 30 to 50% enhanced damage on it. Still has a 12 to all attributes. They also added curse resistance plus 10%. It still has the 15 to 25 all res. Crescent Moon got a bit of a buff. It has +2 to cold skills, plus 10% increased attack speed, plus 10% increased faster cast rate. The mana steal per hit got nerfed. It's 4 to 8 now instead of 11 to 15%. And then they got rid of some of the stuff. So no more 10% damage taken gained as mana when hit. No more -2 to light radius. And then the magic damage taken reduced by 10 is now 5 to 10. So kind of a big buff for Crescent Moon for either casters or cold skill melee, like Holy Freeze or something. Cat's Eye got a little bit of a rework. It has now, instead of 20% faster increased attack speed, it has 30% increased attack speed. and then 25 to 35 dexterity. I guess not much. They just buffed the increased attack speed to 30. Atmos Scarab got a little bit of a buff. Instead of the 5% chance to cast a level 2 amp damage, and it's now 8% chance to cast a level 15 amp damage. Is a very, very popular one for melee builds to get that amp going. 20% bonus to attack rating is now 40 to 60% bonus to attack rating. It has 10% chance to open wounds. Instead of the poison damage, it has plus 300 open wounds damage per second. Poison resist isn't 75 anymore. It is now 30 to 60%. And the attacker takes damage is now 300 to 450. High Lord's Wrath, not a whole lot of changes. Looks like they nerfed the deadly strike per level. Instead of 0.375 per level, it is 0.25, so with a cap of 24%, but still a very, very popular one. It still is a +1 to skills, still has the 20% increased attack speed. The lightning res is now 30 to 40%, and then they did increase the attacker takes lightning damage to 100 to 150. Rising Sun got a little bit of a rework. So it does have still the 4% chance to cast a meteor, but it's a level 23 meteor now. Instead of just flat 2 fire skills, it's 1 to 2 fire skills. I actually just slammed a +1 skill on the on this one. So with a 2 skill, so it's +3 skills on it. Fire skills, I should say. Interesting. Anyway, flat fire damage is now buffed. It does also give -4 to 8% enemy fire res. Still has replenished life. The fire absorb was removed though. Seraph's Hymn, still +2 to all skills. Still the 1 to 2 to defensive auras. Damage to demons now is 50 to 80%. Damage to undead is now 50 to 80%. And that is the changes for that. Mara's Kaleidoscope, no real changes except they buffed the attributes. Instead of just 5, it's now 5 to 8. It still has the same all res. And then Metal Grid just got some attacker takes damage added to it, 750 to 1000. So a lot of that still has the attack rating, still has the all resistance, still has the Iron Maiden charges. They got rid of the Iron Golem charges and just gave plus 25 open skill, and then they also gave plus 20 Golem Mastery. And Golem Mastery does make it to where you can call more than one Golem. I don't know if that applies to this one, though. I'm pretty sure that's passive things. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that one. But you get, it's a stronger Iron Golem. We'll put it that way. And then this is the, well, I guess it's not the last amulet, but this is a super unique amulet from Rathma Fight. Again, you can only find Rathma items or declone items if you're doing the tier 1, tier 2 difficulty. So this has, it's called the Third Eye. The Third Eye amulet is 12% chance to cast a level 25 Bone Nova when casting, which is a unique ability. Plus 1 to all skills, 20% faster cast rate, 40 to 50 energy, cannot be frozen, -4 to light radius, and the common theme with Rathma items, you get a socket for the amulet. Bone Nova sends teeth-like projectiles out in all directions. So that's what Bone Nova is, if anyone's curious. And as it says, amulets can't normally have sockets, but this one can. And then the special amulet, just the Viper Magi one, no changes needed. Moving on to rings. We got the good old Nagel ring. They did buff the MF on this one. Now it can roll 15 to 40%. And it does have +1 to mana after each kill. I have had horrible unique drops. I've literally only found these 2 rings that we're seeing right here. I haven't found any. I'm level 92. So I don't know what's going on with my unique ring RNG. So Mandel Heal, no changes at all. Moving on. Stone of Jordan got a little bit of a change. It still has the +1 to all skills. The lightning damage, 1 to 20 instead of 1 to 12. 20 to mana is now 20 to 40 to mana. Instead of 25% increased mana, it is 15 to 20% increased mana. Maximum mana, I should say. Dwarf Star got a little bit of a rework. It gives 5% chance of blocking. Instead of 40 to life, it's 35 to 50 to life. 35 to 50 to maximum stamina. They removed the heal stamina. It does still have the fire absorb, but instead of 15%, it's 4 to 6%. And of course, the magic damage is still there, as well as the extra gold. Raven Frost didn't really get much. Got a nerf from the Cold Absorb. Instead of 20% Cold Absorb, it's now 5% Cold Absorb, but it still has that important cannot be frozen. Volcathos Wedding Band still has the +1 to all skills, but they did buff the lifesteal per hit. Instead of 3 to 5, it's now 4 to 6. Carry on Wind. The Twister got buffed, 8% chance to cast a level 30 Twister on striking. And they got rid of the 10% chance to cast a level 10 Poison Nova when struck, and just gave it +20 faster run walk. So getting 40 faster run walk if you got 2 of these, that's actually kind of a lot. Still the same lifesteal. Poison res is now 40 to 55%. Attacker takes damage is 180 to 300, and Poison Creeper is level 11 instead of level 21, but it's still in charges. Nature's Peace got a rework in this mod. It's definitely gone through a couple different iterations. So it still has a prevent monster heal, slain monsters rest in peace. In this mod, it gives maximum resistances, so poison, cold, lightning, fire. It was 2 to 3 variability in it, but now it's 1 to 3 poison, cold, lightning, fire max res. So yeah, really hard to get a really good Nature's Peace, but they'll be worth a lot this season if you get a all 3 max stat on it. Level 5 Oak Sage has been changed to a level 2 Oak Sage, but yeah, that's definitely one of the bigger changes for rings for that one. Moving on to Wisp Projector, it got a change. Instead of the 10% chance to cast a level 16 lightning on striking, you have a +1 all skill. It still has a lightning absorb, but instead of the 10 to 20%, it is 4 to 6%. 10 to 50% better chance of magic find instead of 10 to 20. Level 7 Spirit of Barbs is still there. Instead of the level 5 Heart of the Wolverine, it's now a level 2 Heart of the Wolverine, and then they did remove the Oak Sage from it. New item, well, I guess technically not new item, but a D1 item making a return. New to this season for this mod is Constricting Loop. Constricting Loop is the only 20% faster cast rate ring in the game. And in order to get 20% faster cast rate on rings, you would have to corrupt a 10 faster cast rate rare ring to get 20 FCR, which they can go for a lot. So if you corrupt this and get faster cast rate, you will have a 30 faster cast rate ring. It also has hit causes monsters to flee by 12%, 12 to 18 strength, drain life -2, and then 4 to 6 life after each kill. So really good ring. And I don't know what these are. This item is exclusive to Geed's map event. Oh, well, this is nice. Now we're going to learn something new today. Kadala's Heirloom. I was wondering what these were in the patch notes. So these are unique rings exclusive to the Geed's map event, which is an event that can happen when you're running maps where Geed has a shop there, and you know every item that he has in it has a chance is going to be a unique item. So apparently he has a chance to have rings that can have a plus 1 to fire skills with some reses with some cold. Oh, I guess it's minus cold and plus fire. Oh, I see how it is. Okay, so it switches it up. So some rings are minus a resistance plus a resistance depending upon what you get. So you can get a +1 to fire skills, you can get a +1 to cold skills, +1 to lightning, +1 to poison. You can get plus to magic, but it's a minus all res. But then you get magic damage taken reduced. Or you can get a 30% enhanced damage ring with minus res and then increased physical damage. And then I guess apparently these are the base stats, which is gold find, MF, and then reduced vendor prices. Interesting. I didn't even know about this. I saw these popping up in the patch notes. I was like, what the frick is a Kadala's Heirloom? So now we know that if in a Geed's map, buy those rings for a chance to get some of these. So anyway, guys, that is going to be all the rings. I believe that this is all the oh, no, excuse me. We got charms. Where am I going? Excuse me. What am I talking about? We ain't done yet. Let's just go ahead and finish these up real quick. So Geed's charms, nothing's changed. All the same to the Geed's charms. Hellfire torches, though, have changed. Hellfire torches, instead of +3 to random class skill, it's a +2, but you get 30 to 60 vitality, 10 to 20 energy instead of just 10 to 20 all attributes. Resistances haven't changed. +8 to light rays is now 4 to 8. And then the level 30 Hydra has been removed. Over here to Annihilus charms, you now get +30 to 60 vitality and 10 to 20 energy, just kind of similar treatment to Hellfire torches. Still same resistances, still same XP. And then they can also be corrupted with a Tainted Worldstone shard, which drops from Rathma from tier 0 to tier 1. He can drop a Tainted Worldstone shard, which you can use to corrupt an Annihilus charm, which can give you a +2 to all skills, and give you attributes, it can give you resistances, it can give you extra this, or it can brick the Annihilus charm and it just turns it into a regular small charm. So keep that in mind. Moving on to facets, doesn't look like any changes to facets at all. So yeah, there you guys go. That is all the non-weapon unique, non-unique weapon changes. I hope this helped some people out, maybe gave some people some ideas of what to build out, seeing some of these new items or maybe changes to older items. And then in the other video, we will go over all the unique weapons. So if you stuck around this long, consider subscribing, drop me a like, and we'll see you on the next one.